Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after the very unsuccessful streaming of the video editing project, right, I think rather than keeping to stream, right, and then make everybody like, if you're watching, look like, wow, what the hell is this? Very choppy and all that, right? I will just record this video. You can take it as a workshop, as a demonstration, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be a little bit of like I said, a demonstration on how to do some very simple video editing on Adobe Premiere. Of course, you may be asking, hey, Casey, how come you're speaking in Singapore English or Singlish? To be honest, it's the most comfortable way for me to convey something that I know. So if you are if you're one of my friends in Hong Kong and you can't stand this English, right? I'm sorry, but it's just more comfortable for me to be doing this to show what I have been telling you guys in the workshop the other day lah. Maybe I will at the end of it I'll put some subtitles in Chinese so that you can go and read. But we'll see how lah. We'll see how lah. Okay. Okay, so now right, I actually have a little small video to be editing. It's this happy birthday video that I'm doing for I Love KL, the stand-up comedy team that's in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which we collaborated with through our stand-up comedy team stand-up task force here in Hong Kong. They're having the second anniversary. I Love KL is having the second anniversary, and one of their main 揸 fit 人 or 大佬 or boss or very active person, Juliana. So she was inviting us to be putting some videos for some congratulatory videos for the team. And I think maybe it's a good thing. So I decided to also do something. And while I was in Singapore right last week, so I I wanted to spend time, going around Singapore and take videos, but obviously things change, plans change, and at the end of the day, I only managed to do it at the airport just before I got on the plane to fly back to Hong Kong. But doesn't matter; it's the thought that counts. So now let's do a bit of editing to make this video come alive. So first of all, right, I already opened up a Premiere project, and now I'm just going to import the I need to import the files into the what we call the project. So I have actually an audio file and a video file. I for some strange reason this one is not showing up on on the screen now, but maybe I'm not very good with dealing with this software, but doesn't matter. Most importantly is you choose the files that you need to import, and then you'll be able to see them like right here. Okay, the files have been imported, and one of them is a video, one of them is a file. It's a sound file. So what happened at that day was that I actually had a camera to take a video of myself, and I also have a sound recorder to record the voice because I have been, to be honest, I have so many failed experiences with lousy audio, right, that I get a bit scared nowadays if I'm not having an audio. So now I'm just going to put them together first. Okay, sorry for bringing my face. I know it's scary, but just bear with me. Okay, I'm going to put it into the timeline. And I'm also going to put the audio into the timeline. Okay, so very quickly, right, you'll be able to see that the video and the audio, right, the time is different. So first of all, I mean the length is different. So first thing first, right, I need to be chopping off parts of the audio when where it's kind of like silent or not related to the video, so I can match them later. So what I can do, right, is I try to maxim or enlarge the part or whatever you call it, zoom into the part, uh, zoom into a better, or should I say a a smaller time lap, or I don't know what's it called, but you get the point, You get the point. I zoom in into a timeline, And then from the audio file, right, basically you can see that there's this part that's like relatively flat, and then where the peak goes up here, right, is where the sound starts. So what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to cut off everything that I'm going to cut off this part, so I can use the razor tool, or my favorite is actually Control K. Once I press Control K, right, it basically speeds right here at this timeline here, or this cursor here. So I'm just going to remove this part, and now I'm trying to match this audio with the audio that's taken with the camera, so that you can actually hear that they are more or less the same. Why do I do that? Because sometimes, right, it's always better to have dedicated sound recorder to record a voice, because sometimes when you're taking a video with your camera, right, or your phone, right, you actually pick up a lot of other sounds that you may not necessarily need. So having a dedicated sound recorder is always better. So now I just need to make sure that the audio that I've recorded matches exactly with the audio that's taken on the camera. You'll be able to see the end product at the end of it, so you'll be able to see, okay, that's properly matched. Okay, so basically I think the sound is alright lah. And so right now I'm going to unlink the video with the sound that is recorded on the camera. I've unlinked them. After I've unlinked them, right, it's actually this option which I clicked just now lah. After I unlink them, I delete it. So now, right, you'll be able to see the end product later, but basically on my headphone, right, the sound matches my mouth pretty perfectly lah. Okay, so if I want to be really lazy, right, I'm done already. I'm done already. This is like, oh, okay, not really done, but I've got this tail at the end that I need to remove also. So Control K, remove. Okay, so yeah, so basically this is how it's like. Basically this is how it's like. Do I want to do a bit more? Yes, I can if I want to. Of course, I think they will also, when I send to Juliana, she's probably going to do a bit of editing, but just for the sake, I'm just going to do a very simple fade in, fade out for the video, just to make it look a bit nicer lah. Okay, so basically, right, this video is about 46 seconds long. So I'm going to place maybe 1 second or 1.5 seconds. Just nice. Actually, this gap is about 1.5 seconds. So I'm going to place a 1.5 seconds fade in on the video. So now I'll go to effect controls. Basically, right, to do zoom in is actually very simple. Go to opacity. Okay. Now, after you go to effects control, right, you go to opacity, you look over this. And then, right, at the point when you want to zoom in to N, right, or fade in to N, right, I've been saying zoom in all the time, it's actually fade in. Okay, when you want to fade into N, right, you press this little circle here to create a keyframe. And then you go back to the start of the video, you press this little circle again. So when you press this little circle, it means that to create a keyframe. A keyframe is it's kind of like a point to tell the video that, okay, some effects is going to happen here. There's a new effect that's going to kick in here. So now that I have created two keyframes, right, okay, I'm first going to make sure that there's one where the fade in is going to end is at 100. And then now I go back to the start, and now I change this to become 0. So here you can see the video actually will then start fade in after. We will do a very a slow fade in to so you can see that, oh, it's fade in lah. Then at the end of it, do the same thing. I'm going to create at this point one keyframe, and then go to the end of the video. My habit is I usually don't go all the way to the end. It's like maybe slightly just before the end, maybe like 2 to 3 frames before the end, and then I create the endpoint keyframe. So now that you have two keyframes, right? This one and this one. Here we are going to do a fade out. So the fade out, right? Obviously, if fade in is 0 to 100, right? Then fade out is 100 to 0. So make sure that this point where you want the fade out to start is at 100. Then the next one where it's going to end is 0. So now, right, you'll have a fade out effect. Okay, so very simple. Now, of course, again, I mentioned if I want to be really, really lazy, right, I can end here. But maybe you would have noticed, even if you can't hear the sound, right, you will have noticed that the screen, right, or the capture, the video itself, right, is very, how to say, very jerky. Because obviously I didn't have the stabilizer on. I should have, but it was like just my hand holding the camera, so it wasn't really, really smooth, like in the sense. So what I can do, right, is I can try to, as far as I can, right, to remove or stabilize the video using Adobe Premiere Pro. And there is actually this effect that you can try. Under the effects tab, in this text box, you just enter warp stabilizer, or once you type warp, right, this would already appear. So you choose this and bring it into the timeline. And then Adobe Premiere is going to analyze the video to see how jerky it is. Usually, right, warp stabilizer, from my experience, it can minimize quite a bit of the warping or the shakiness. But of course, it's give and take. It's not completely 100% cure, because sometimes the shake can be a bit too much, and it can't really do a lot to stop the warping or the shaking. And what it really does, right, is that it looks at the video. What Adobe Premiere Pro does, right, is that I believe it looks at the video and then try to compensate any shakiness with a so-called counter shakiness. So which means the main character or the main object in your screen, right, might actually be stabilized, but because in order to stabilize the main object, it may actually need to, destabilize other parts of the video. So sometimes, right, it may appear to be a bit weird that some other parts of the video are actually shaking. So I'll see what Premiere Pro does. It's going to take some time, 5 minutes, to actually analyze the video to see how much it needs to do. In the meanwhile, we are just going to wait and wait and wait.
5 minutes later.
The warp stabilizer has done its analysis, so let's see what it actually comes up with with the destabilization. As you can see, much smoother than just now already. Okay, so basically, right, as you probably will be able to see the warp, the shakiness due to the hand holding the camera has been kind of like removed. But at the same time, you also actually notice that the video is actually larger than it was supposed to be. You see, this is the source, and this is actually the output. Actually, like I mentioned just now, what the warp stabilizer does, right, is that it will try to do as much as possible, right, to remove any shaking or warping or unstabilized movement by changing the video itself. So you'll notice that actually the video now, my head looks bigger than it already is. So but the shakiness is gone, so it's actually a very nice little effect to have. Now just for the sake also, I might want to do a bit of a what I call color correction, because as you can see, this video kind of feels a bit green, so greenish, bluish. I might want to tune it to a slightly warmer color. So I'll go to the I have to open the color palette or the color panel, and then on the right, you'll see Lumetri color. And here, right, you can basically play around with all these things, and just see, just move your the scrollers here and there to try to capture a very better color. So I'll try to, I think tint, I'll set it to 0, but I'll move the temperature a bit up. Or maybe tint I want to turn up a bit also. Um, yeah, I think this would be better. I think it looks slightly sharper. But of course, there are some standard ones where you can just pick and choose. But of course, this is not the one that I want lah. You can play around with them. Uh, a bit too fierce. So I'll just keep this. Um, and I can also play with the exposure, the contrast. I can lower the contrast. I think lower the contrast looks a bit nicer, huh? I think I'll lower the contrast. I'll also then I'll turn down the highlights a little. Shadows can go down to still have a bit of contour. Whites can go up a little, maybe a little. Blacks can go up a little also, or maybe I can tone down a bit. Yeah, to make the black looks more black. And yeah, I think I like this. I like this color. So um, so yeah, I'm done. So now the next thing to do is to export the file. Export the file. I'll go to File. I'll go to Export, and I'll go to Media. Now this window, right, actually it pops up after you choose to export media. And usually, right, what I do, right, is I look at all this, and then right, very importantly, is you need to look at all these settings to make sure that it's something that you would want lah. Like for example, right, normally, um, the format is H.264 lah, to be to be absolutely safe as so called. Preset, right, high bit rate, match source, but of course you can change to other formats if you want to. For those who are posting videos on Facebook, right, you can obviously use the Facebook settings or Vimeo settings or YouTube settings. I think I'll click the YouTube settings. YouTube's 1080. Okay, so and then here they will automatically adjust everything for you lah. So the output will be 1920 times 1080. As you can see here. So basically, right, everything is nice. So now it's just a matter of changing the output name to something that I can remember. I'm going to save it in a folder where I can find them easily. Okay, so now I've changed the output name, and I can click export to export the file. So basically, right, that's how the whole procedure of editing a video, doing a bit of editing. And obviously this is something that you can only do with I mean, not only you can do that, but this is something you can do with Premiere Pro in comparison with Premiere Rush, which I have so-called recommended it to a few friends, because for simple things, right, obviously, like, if I'm just trying to match the audio, match the video, right, then it works very well. But when you are trying to actually when you're actually trying to do something like what I've done today, right, like doing the destabilizing of the video, or no, stabilizing of the video, I'm talking about stabilizing of the video, or I want to do color colors like this, right? I mean, having Premiere Pro would always be better. Premiere Rush, it can do a bit of color correction, not a lot, not a lot. It can't do stabilizing, and so if I have things like this that I need to do, right, then obviously I will be going for Premiere Pro lah. Okay, so basically, right, the work that I've done, right, is done lah. Okay, so hopefully you have enjoyed watching this, and maybe I will be coming up with another demonstration very soon. And thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello, this is Casey from S2TF from Hong Kong. I'd like to congratulate all of you at I Love KL for your second anniversary. It's always a very difficult thing to go up to the stage and tell jokes and make people laugh, but you have done it. You have done it for so many months, so many days, and I'm sure in the future you're going to continue making people laugh, making people happy, and bring joy to the society and the community. Hopefully not just in KL, but also around Malaysia and maybe even Singapore. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you in Hong Kong very soon. Hopefully we can strike up something, some collaborations, some joint projects, and we can make people laugh together. Once again, congratulations and happy birthday! I love KL! Yoo-hoo!